fruit platter with ripe melons and fresh berries, a basket of croissants with my homemade apricot butter, and the easiest baked blintzes you ever made with fresh blueberry sauce, starting with roasted hazelnut granola. I love making granola. You can make it way in advance. It's delicious for breakfast or brunch, and you can make so many different varieties of it. So I'm starting with 1 cup of roasted hazelnut, just really coarsely chopped. Next is 1 cup of roasted cashews. Actually, even though I'm roasting these, I start with roasted nuts. The wonderful thing is when you roast them, the flavor of the nuts really comes out. And just also give it a big rough chop. You don't want little pieces, you want big pieces. Okay, into the bowl. Next is 1 cup of oatmeal. You can't make granola without oatmeal. I like the crunch of the old-fashioned ones. Next is 1/2 cup of slivered almonds. You can also use sliced almonds, but these are slivered. 1/2 cup of sweetened shredded coconut. All of these measurements aren't exact. If you like something more than something else, just add a little more. 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. This is what's going to brown everything and make it taste so delicious. You want a flavorless oil. 2 tablespoons of honey, and if you do the oil first, the honey comes out of the tablespoon easily. That's a neat little trick. Again, put as much honey in as you like. Give it all a big stir. This looks good and healthy. The nice thing about granola is you can really make it well in advance. Roast the whole thing and just keep it in an airtight container.
So maybe I should do the blue mascari. Yes, they're low, they're blue, and they're not so formal, which I think is perfect for brunch.
Aina asked me to use these 2 tablecloths, a white and a blue one. I decided to use the white as the base, and then as an accent, put the blue one as a runner. For textures, I'm using these rush mats. They're very nice and chunky, and they sort of contrast with the softness of this linen. Food looks so nice on white plates, so I just used these very simple ones. To add a touch of whimsy, I decided to use these oversized teacups instead of bowls. Aina really likes it when we add up a touch of difference to her tables. And again, for the coffee mugs, just these very simple ones, white and classic.
Okay, last big stir. Onto a pan. Looks good already, it's not even baked. Just spread it out evenly into the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. I'm just going to toss it a few times while it's baking to make sure it bakes evenly. And that's going to be really delicious roasted hazelnut granola.
I decided to use these pictures for the juices. Plus the color of the juices will add a lot of color and spark to the table. I've also chosen to use these straight-sided modern glasses to contrast with the antique of these oversized teacups.
Granola smells so good. Wow. It's really toasted and perfect. Just give it a toss. Make sure it doesn't get all clumped together. Can't wait to see what the guys are doing on the table. I'm sure it's fantastic. And when the granola cools, I'm going to put it in a big bowl. I'm starting with a golden pineapple. I think they're really sweet and delicious. So I peeled the whole thing. I think there's an idea with a pineapple that if you can pull out the leaf in the middle, then it's ripe. But that's not necessarily true. It might actually mean that it's rotten, which you definitely don't want. When you pick up a pineapple, smell it. If it smells like pineapple, it's ripe. So I think I'm just going to cut this in half and then cut it in quarters. The only part of this I don't like to eat is the core. So I'm just going to cut the core out. And then I'll slice it right on the platter. So I've got pineapple. I found a ripe cantaloupe in the market. I've got berries. It's going to make a really nice platter. Just cut the core out like this. The whole thing about this is making sure it looks really bountiful. Okay, time to start building the platter. So I always like to do something green on the plate. So I have some fig leaves, or any kind of leaves. You can use lemon leaves, or if you have hydrangeas in the summer, just some kind of a flat leaf. Just really sets off the fruit. Yeah, okay, and then the pineapple. I think I'll do 3 pieces of pineapple, and then I'm just going to cut it right on the plate. Just cut it right across. And then everybody can help themselves. Cut it right down the middle. Well, big blocks of different kinds of fruit, but you don't want them scattered all over the plate. You want them all together, each in a block. It's so much easier to cut this on the plate than it is to cut it on the board and then move all these little pieces over. Okay, next, cantaloupe. And for the cantaloupe, I think I'll just do big slices. I want to make sure they're big pieces of things so it doesn't look like just a bowl of fruit salad. And just move all the slices over and just spread them out nicely. And then the other piece. It's so important to just pick really ripe fruit. And then another row. Okay, just fit all the pieces together so it looks nice. That's good. Okay, now some fresh berries. So this I like to do very sort of spilly, very artistic. Just have it happen. Just put them all together. And then the strawberries. Big blocks of color. And last, fresh raspberries. So it looks really complicated, but it's actually pretty easy to do. It's going to look fantastic on the brunch table. So that's it for the fruit platter. Next, I'm going to do a basket of croissant. Got to have croissant for brunch. So I'm going to show you how I line a basket. These are actually baskets that bread is made in. I'm going to use them for bread baskets. And I'm going to line it with a linen napkin. And this is how I do it. I pull the center together like that, and then turn it around and pull the center together again. And we end up with this. The points stick right up. I think that looks really nice for a bread basket. Okay, and you know the thing about croissant, you don't need to make them yourself. There are really good bakeries that can make them. And what I love to do is just buy them and heat them up so they're nice and crisp. Of course, croissants are delicious with butter, but they're even better with apricot butter. Flavor butters are so easy to make, and they're really delicious. Let me talk you through how I made this apricot butter. Making flavored butter is so simple. You just put 1/4 pound of unsalted butter at room temperature into the bowl of an electric mixer. Then add 1/2 cup of good apricot preserves, 1/8 teaspoon of kosher salt. I know it's an unusual ingredient, but it really makes a difference. And just mix it on low speed. I make marmalade butter, raspberry butter, honey butter. It's so delicious. That's the croissant, gorgeous fruit platter, apricot butter. Now all I have to do is make the blintzes.
They're really easy to do. You just take an egg, break the top off, fill it with water, arrange the mascari, and then I was wondering, what am I going to put these little eggs in on the table? And I thought, the natural thing is an egg cup. Aren't they perfect?
First I'm going to start with the batter. I make it in the food processor. It's 1 1/4 cups of milk with 2 tablespoons of sour cream and 4 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. Then 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 4 extra large eggs, and next is 1 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to sweeten it, 2 tablespoons of sugar. And the last ingredient, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And that just gets blended together until it's smooth. It's foolproof. So I have a 9 by 13 pan that I've greased, and I'm going to pour half the batter in, and that becomes the bottom of the pancake. It's one big pancake. Just half the batter. You can make it in advance, or you can just use it right away. And just make sure it's even. This is going to go into the oven for 10 minutes at 350 degrees until it's just set, and that's stage 1. I've got the pancake started, and now what I'm making is the filling. And the basis of it is ricotta cheese. I need 24 ounces. Instead of making the crepes for the blintzes one at a time, I'm doing them all in one dish. So that's 24 ounces of ricotta cheese. I need 8 ounces of mascarpone. This container's 8 3/4 ounces, so that's fine. It doesn't have to be exact. 2 extra large eggs, just lightly beaten. 1/3 of a cup of sugar. It's nice if it's a little sweeter. This is a classic Eastern European dish. 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest. The flavor in this is lemon, a little vanilla, with the ricotta and mascarpone. It's really creamy and delicious. And then the pancake on the outside. And then, to top it all off, a warm, fresh blueberry sauce. I mean, how bad can that be? Miguel and Michael are doing the table setting for this. They're keeping it a secret. I gave them a starting point of a blue and white cloth. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Miguel was just here getting coffee, milk, and sugar. Gotta have that for brunch. And he said he's almost done. Okay, 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest. 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. There's nothing like fresh lemon juice. Whatever comes in a bottle doesn't approximate it. I also think it actually has a very short shelf life. Sometimes I'll squeeze the lemons in advance and it never tastes the same as fresh. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of good vanilla. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to mix it all together until everything's perfectly combined.
Because I don't like people to help themselves, I have chosen this thermos of coffee. There's milk, sugar, and I also chose these apricot napkins.
So the bottom pancake's done, and now I'm going to pour the filling right over it. Instead of making lots of small pancakes and filling each one, what I'm doing is making one huge pancake, and then I'm going to cut it in squares after it's all baked together. It's just as delicious and so much less trouble. So I'm just going to spread the filling out evenly. This looks good, doesn't it? And now I'm just going to pour the pancake batter that's left, the other half, right on top. So I'm just using this spoon so I can distribute it really evenly and it doesn't get mixed into the cheese layer. And it really works. So it's basically a pancake on the bottom, cheese filling, and a pancake on the top. And the whole thing just bakes together. It's kind of surprising that it works, isn't it? Okay. Perfect. So back into the oven, 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes, and we're going to have the most delicious baked blintzes. For the main course, I'm making baked blintzes. They're in the oven, and I'm making fresh blueberry sauce to go with it. It's fantastic. I'll show you how I make it. They're just a handful of ingredients. First into the pan is 3/4 of a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice with 2/3 of a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Everything gets mixed together. Bring it to a boil, stirring it occasionally. When it's translucent and thickened a little bit, you stir in 4 1/2 pints of fresh blueberries. Then simmer the sauce for 4 to 5 minutes, just until a few berries have burst, but most are still whole. And then I add 1 teaspoon of grated lemon zest and 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Blueberry sauce is done. It smells fantastic. So I'm just going to put it in a pitcher so we can serve it at the table. And the blintzes are done. How great is that? Wow. Oh, they smell fantastic. You can smell the cheese and the lemon. So I'm going to cut them in squares. Let's see, how big are these squares? I think I'm cutting 8 squares.